Hello, hello, awesomes. It's Regina coming to you on AWE Radio from my ABCD PNRM Talkcast. Shh, let's talk about getting it together. At my last airing, I reported there was no change to congressional and state legislature or leadership control. Well, everything is as previously reported. The House, now in Republican control, took 15 votes to elect Representative Kevin McCarthy Speaker. McCarthy wanted the gavel so much that it didn't matter to him how or if he could actually lead the conference. He just wanted the power that the gavel represented. Ergo, with all he gave away and that he won't acknowledge he did, he is the weakest speaker in our lifetime, if not ever. I said that it was going to be a mess. Well, it is, and there isn't any governing going on in the House chambers. The GOP is focusing on non-government craziness, things to break down the government and governing processes, settle old party personal grievances, overturn or deter 45's many legal problems, stop investigations incriminating themselves from the January 6th insurrection and other infractions, and leveling frivolous investigations against the investigators or other government leaders and political figures. President Biden's son, who's already been investigated. Just wasting time, money, as opposed to legislating as elected to do. The Senate, led by a Democratic majority through the grace of God and miracle, or both, appears to be on the road to some semblance of bipartisan cooperation with GOP counterparts. Fingers crossed. The president, still Joe Biden, and Democratic as well, is killing it on all fronts while dealing with unexpected problems of his own. Unauthorized and unsecured classified documents found in his possession at his residence offices. Well, new news, it appears to be a problem pervasive throughout the government because some were recently found with former Vice President Pence. And of course, we all know of the 45 and Hillary Clinton, the former Secretary of State and 2016 presidential candidate cases. Speculation is, except with 45, that the situations are innocent enough and more a problem of overclassification than purposeful mishandling of the documents. Okay, back on topic, democracy, but coming at it from a different perspective than usual today. Don't put off for tomorrow what you need to do today. I've been off air these past few weeks dealing with, I would say, what is the worst thing that has ever happened in my life. My family lost a dear member in the person of my sister, Johan Paris Cotton Wilson. She was a tender spirit, but strong presence in all that she endeavored to do. She was a caring, give you the benefit of the doubt type person. She was a champion for any underdog, regardless of their circumstances, and strove to make them feel better about life and themselves. Know their worth, who they are, and whose they are, as did she. She was life and living personified. Love and the sharing of it in her own way, and her life's motto was one love, which she exemplified in her style and all she did. As we traversed the landscape of dealing with her truly heart-wrenching, life-altering challenge or tragedy and its aftermath of the homegoing, memorializing of her, and then the real work of trying to piece together the business end of her life, I came to a shocking conclusion that is very pertinent to the subject of democracy and trying to put it back together for the good of the country. In my lead of Joe's story, She was my country at that moment, and the scenario was about making things right in her honor. You know, like right sizing the country's issues. The midterm elections was a definite win, putting democracy on the right track in the singular sense of the American people saying they wouldn't tolerate all the dysfunction, MAGA views, denialism, just right out lies, and wanted more honest politicians and political discourse. Well, now the GOP House processes and rules, and the insurrection and anti-democracy sentiments being peddled around the world by the same folks tearing down our democracy, democratic principles, small d, not necessarily Democrats, meaning the Democratic Party, big D, here in the United States. Democracy defenders continue standing strong to exemplify the country stronger together mantra, to traverse the barriers put in place by the 118th Congress, which will allow the country and the world to stay on the same page. They see the U.S. as the example, as they should, and we are teetering on failure in that department with all the shenanigans happening by the distractors. So, all right, democracy, like life, sometimes throws you curves, and you bob, you weave, you try to slip the punches to stay the course. So the it today is one love. It is imperative that we, just ordinary people, not slow walk stepping up for democracy, but instead be proactive, that we seek out those populations that don't vote or engage in determining the direction they believe the country or our rights, personal or human, need to go, not just for them, but for the country's sake. Give what you have to get what the bigger we need. Make a sacrifice, one love, of country, all its people, and its survivability as the greatest nation democracy in the world. Decide what facet of voters' rights, human rights, civil rights, constitutional freedoms speak to you or you want to champion. We must get our house and affairs in order. Get involved and be passionate about it, because staying silent or abstaining from getting involved becomes you don't think, or because you don't think it pertains or involves you, or you think others will do the right thing. Sets all of us up for failure because the numbers matter, and the ones, the ordinary people, can make a cause or election turn on its head in the wrong direction if not supported. Make a proactive effort, one love, for country, all its people, and America's survivability as a place where the Constitution really means what it says. One nation, under God, all men are created equal, the greatest nation democracy in the world. The country, its laws and rules are only as good as the people who enforce them and those who choose or are forced to obey them. Get involved so you, we, the ordinary people, have a say in what happens to and for us. Who's pulling the strings? It is not tit for tat. There are glaring differences of enforcement mechanisms from one side to the other, left to right, Dem to GOP, democracy to authoritarianism, right to wrong, love to hate, for the country, people, and for the party. Make your voice heard. One love. Say it loud and proud that I speak for me. I have a stake in what I want this country to be, no longer by proxy. For love of country, all its people, and the survivability of America as the greatest nation, democracy in the world. Strive to bring self and self-awareness into your quest for fulfillment and understanding of the world as it operates around you, and strive to make sure it doesn't happen to you, but for you through your efforts of persuasion, a cause led by ordinary people. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Live each day as if it's special, and so are you deserving to be in it. Make a positive difference in your life and the lives of others. One love. Do your part and see that you and the country will be the better for it. Use your voice, rights, and actions for the good of country, all its people, and the survivability as the greatest nation, democracy in the world. To recap where we are in our article delineation, the Constitution is the guide by which the country runs and divides the federal government into three separate and distinct branches. Its design was intended to ensure a distribution of power to make no individual or group will have too much power. Don't let them have too much power. I say it so it'll stick. The three branches articulated in the Constitution made up of the federal government, an institution through which leaders exercise power to make and enforce laws. A government's basic functions are providing leadership, maintaining order, providing public services, providing national security, states oversight and guidance, providing economic security, and providing economic assistance. A government is also responsible for creating and enforcing the rules of a society, defense, and foreign affairs. The source is Elgin, ISD domain. The federal government is composed of three branches, as I mentioned. They're the legislative, executive, and judicial, whose powers are vested by the U.S. Constitution in the Congress, the President, and the federal courts, respectively. Each branch works together to set the laws of the U.S. The source is the same. The United States Constitution is the oldest constitution in the world, still in active use. It was written in 1787 and officially ratified in 1788. Just think about it. Something as old as this that still rules over us today in the rules that are the application of life as it is today. But that's what we have going on. Like all governments, though, around the world, the U.S. government is not the highest power in the country. It's the people. We, the ordinary people. So what can we do? Make your voices heard. Protest for what you believe in. Sign petitions. Get educated. Donate and join causes that define you. Participate in the building of democratic policies and platforms and fight for your rights. The source is spun out. Engage, get involved, fight for your rights, make your desires known, not just in November for presidential elections, but start today. The way that works for you, not that someone else thinks is right, but you're right. And in your own time, make a conscious decision, one love, for yourself, the country, all its people, and America's survivability as a place where love and the greater good trumps all. Strive to keep this the greatest nation, democracy in the world, and a place where life is lived free of inhibitions and inhibitors. All right, as we wrap it up, thank you for all of you for tuning in. And here's hoping each of you receives something that enlightens you, brightens your perspective, and more importantly, empowers you. We're building the blocks of democracy, what? From the bottom up, to move into our 2024 voting season well armed with information, knowledge, understanding, and focused purpose. Democracy for all. The next show, I'll get back into current news and the state of our government. I'll also continue our awareness campaign and impartation of knowledge, finishing Article 4, relationships between the states, and moving on to Article 5, amending the Constitution. We will continue in more depth outlining the process by which we weaponize knowledge into focused action to ensure our journey toward the 2024 presidential election bears fruit. Democracy equals voting rights and access for all. There may be local elections going on in your area of the country, so be aware and do your part, if only to vote. I know, though, involvement in any way would be of great help to the voting and governing process. Do your part, get involved, and you'll be gratified in the results of your efforts. This is Regina Adams signing off, saying, Joe, here's to you, baby. Love you and rest in peace and love. One love. And to all of you, my many listeners, see you at the end of the week to give you something to share and take into the rest of your many weeks. Take care. Keep getting it together.